Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to welcome today in Sexpert Talks Ann Nguyen, who is somebody I deeply admire. She's a female empowerment, sexual empowerment coach. She has her school of no. Help me with this. Super pleasure. No. I'm always confused with this.
It's called the School of Super Pleasure.
The school of
Yeah.
super pleasure. Yes, that's good. And well, she has been such an inspiration to me, and I really want you guys to get to know her more. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Beautiful. So, Anne works a lot with sexuality, with empowerment and sexuality together. I love this combination. And we wanted to discuss today how sexuality becomes empowerment, how we can embrace these two combinations, right? I really think that is something we could discuss for hours, and hours.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. But yeah, I mean, I love talking about this topic. It's definitely the base and the view from which I teach sexuality. And so I think it's so important. They're two words that a lot of women don't see together. I tell people, I'm like, I'm a women's sexual empowerment coach. And like, I can see in their mind trying to compute, like, wait, all of those words are strung together in one sentence, like in one title. Like, what does that even mean? And so I think it's so important to start to put these two words together, sex and power, especially for women.
Yeah. And how is it that it works? How does power and sexuality work together?
Yeah, so the way that I really see sexuality and empowerment working together is that a lot of us, I'll talk about sort of the orientation that most people have, right? So a lot of women, especially, are conditioned to relate their sexuality to worth and to the external, to validation, to pleasing their partners, to looking and being or serving a certain role in the world. Um, and the place where sexual empowerment comes in is realizing this new paradigm of when a woman actually decides, fuck that, I don't want to do that version of sexuality anymore. I want to find a version of sexuality that actually makes me feel good.
Mhm.
It sort of requires in sexuality, because it has to do with your body. It has to do with how you feel about your body, how much you love your body, how comfortable you are in your body. It has to do with love. It has to do with connecting to other people, to how open you can be to receive, how much you're able to give. It connects to our beliefs about our worth and what our roles in society are and what these paradigms are in relationship. And it also touches so much on like, can I shift the narrative that I am worthy of receiving, I'm worthy of feeling good, I am worthy of being valued. And so it's like impossible really to talk about a true, healthy, holistic, thriving sexuality without talking about all of those things that I just mentioned that are underneath it, that are directly related to your empowerment. Um, and I know that you work with this too, so I'm sure you see it over and over and over again. It's kind of like that diving into the place where all of the things are. It's sort of like a natural byproduct, which is so beautiful, to also reclaim your power while you reclaim your pleasure and your greatest orgasms and all of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, it's so interesting to turn the tables because usually sexuality has been used as a way to have power over women.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's reclaiming sexuality to reclaim your power. So
Yeah.
that's an interesting turn of events.
Right, right. And I think that that also speaks to, yeah, the innate power of a woman's sexuality. And so, yeah, it's no mistake that it's been shut down and used against us. But I think, you know, really this concept and sort of this realization I got a lot from Mama Gina's book, Pussy, which is that our sexuality is so powerful that it's inspired music and paintings and art, and you know, had people falling over their feet head first in order to try to experience it and to even just get a sliver for that power. And I think that is one of the biggest things too, that shift into realizing it's always been our power. It's always been our power first and foremost. And so, yes, just like the rest of the patriarchal world, anything that makes us powerful, our intelligence, our sexuality, our voices, have been systematically shut down. Um, so that's also why, you know, going on a sexual empowerment or a sexuality journey leads us to this. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And we have seen it firsthand, first in us, and then in the people that we are able to share this with.
Mhm.
And what are the kinds of changes that you see people going through as they embrace their sexuality?
Yeah. So I think that one of the first things that I notice is that the way that I love to teach sexuality, and that most of us do in this forum, is to really base it on a solid foundation of self-love. And self-love in the sense of not just loving the parts of you that are really easy, or the nice girl, again, all of those like societal roles that made us perceive that we're loved, but to really love like your depth even, and your darkness and your struggle. And um, I've just found over and over again that when I am leading my clients through those practices of just the foundation of self-love, when you have that and you accept yourself for who you are and what is actually powerful about you, you really start to show up that way everywhere, right? So like when you reclaim the love and reverence that you have for yourself in your body or in sex, you reclaim it in your career and your everyday life, or you know, as in your experience as a mom and things like that. And so I think that's one of the biggest shifts, is that um sorry, I'm like kind of rambling, but like when we go through sexuality, we also claim our authentic expression instead of pretending. We reclaim our real voice instead of the voice that we think everyone wants to hear. We define sex and what it means to be a sexual woman on our own terms. And all of those things, I feel like, unlock a woman into like, wait, I can actually be who I really am, and who I really am is beautiful and powerful and totally okay. And I find that those same doubts are the same doubts that keep us from pursuing the career that we want, or the relationship that we want, or even the friendships and sort of that safety that we want. And so it's just like this natural blossoming that starts to like spread everywhere, and it's so so beautiful to witness.
Yes, 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 yes. And who would say that it's all in in something that we have so um, close to our palms of our hands. It's our sexuality. It's just there. It's
Mhm.
inside of us all the time. And I
Yeah.
thought that you're speaking about recovering our real identity, our voice, the voice that we really, that it's really ours and not what we think that everybody wants to listen to. And
Mhm.
loving the parts that are not so easy to love. I think that there's so much in there that sounds like the perfect medicine. And I am thinking of the people listening to this and wondering how can I get some of that? How can
Yeah.
I get that? How can I love myself if I have been taught to hate myself? To find the problem with my looks all the time, no matter how well I look, how beautiful I look, there's always an issue. When I have been taught to hate other women, when I have been taught to fear competition, when I have been taught that sexuality is a commodity that I give to a man and not something that I'm meant to enjoy. How to change the narrative?
Yeah, yeah. So I love that you use the word narrative, because I think that that is one of my favorite practices to give to my clients and my courses is to one, I think the biggest thing to really love yourself and your sexuality is to have a deep, deep, deep amount of self-compassion and self-forgiveness. So to first even acknowledge and to bring into awareness that a lot of your actions or a lot of your beliefs or a lot of your ways of being and maybe even a lot of your shutdown or your trauma have been because of things that you learned, that you saw, that you experienced, and to have that really big realization that those are things that you feel, that you've been taught to think, that you've gone through, but that they are not you.
Mm.
And to have that deep compassion for, of course you've been XYZ way in your sexuality so far, you've done the best that you could with what you have. And then I think that the next step of that is to rewrite your narrative. So a practice that I love to give people is to like clear it all out, write it all down, write out all of the bullshit that you have learned about sex and what it means to be a sexual woman, um, women who have sex are crazy or they're prude, or sex is supposed to last like 5 minutes and it's all about for men. Like even the stuff that you don't believe, it's so nice just to purge, to really realize like how much you're holding inside, and then to realize that you have the power, right? I think Layla Martin, our teacher, said this, that really stuck with me. It's like, we, by far and large, maybe our sexuality isn't safe everywhere, but far and wide, or not far and wide, the people like us that are privileged enough, there are people like us who are privileged enough where it actually is safe to claim your sexuality, even if it's for yourself and in your bedroom or in your relationship. It is actually safe. And so to write a new story, this is what I want a sexual woman to be. A sexual woman is someone who is connected to her truth. A sexual woman is a woman who celebrates herself and is fully alive. Sex is something that is beautiful and healthy, and that can, increase the amount of connection and energy that I feel in my everyday life, right? Rewriting and realizing that you actually have the power to redefine what it means for you, I think is such a powerful step in this whole process. That can kind
Mhm.
of be a beginning step.
Yes. Oh my God, and so important. And I can breathe into that power of self-compassion, because that's something that we have been denying ourselves constantly. We are our worst critics, right? And just this shift of having compassion for the choices and how long we have chosen to go that way, and for the people that we were, and it's just a healing balm. And I love that then after that we can move into changing this narrative. It sounds so simple because it's actually simple, yet
Yeah.
we need like this container of safety to know that we can get to this point.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And I think that that's one of the things that I'm so passionate about. And I know that all of us are, is that there are actual tools. It can actually be simple. It might not be easy, but it can be really simple. It's just that this possibility, this permission, this space is just not something that is as widespread as it should be. So I'm really glad we're doing this. So more people can know.
Especially because you just use the magic word permission to thrive, permission to experience our sexuality in our own terms, permission to just heal our sexuality and reclaim our power with it.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, so, so important.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I think even that, even just the permission slip of like, you can choose your pleasure. You can have sex when you do or don't want to. You can fully express yourself. You can speak up for what you desire. All of that just culminates in such massive, massive, massive power for women.
And the connection of sexuality and power return in this point, because it's permission to heal your sexuality, and what it brings when it's healed, it's this sense of empowerment, how the waves that it creates in our lives, and how it changes our narrative when it comes to work, when it comes to our relationships, to our partners, to the people around us, to our dreams, to our expression in the world. So it's not just about the bed and orgasms, it's about the waves that it generates in every aspect of our lives.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And yeah, I mean, I don't know which one's the bonus. Amazing sex and the orgasms are great, and but I just think that yeah, it's and what a way to claim your power through your body and through your pleasure and through feeling good, right? I think that the other thing about sexuality as a path to empowerment that's so potent and so powerful is that a lot of us carry this story that we're not allowed to be powerful, or we're not allowed to use our voice and do what we want until we fix ourselves, until something inside of us is, removed. Whereas teaching the path of sexuality, it's like you get to feel good now, you get to choose to feel good, and through feeling good, you claim your power. Because feeling bad as a way to be good, which is so much of what we're taught, is just, it's old, it's done, it's dead, let's put it to rest. And why not go on the journey that is much more, has the potential for much more pleasure filled way to find your power.
Absolutely. I have seen that condition so much. Like, you're just going to be happy when you are, fit and sexy and beautiful and rich and successful. And what happens in the meantime? Am I not allowed to experience life in the meantime?
Yeah, yeah.
This is like a way to live this process, and then the rest is just, it's just life happening, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
That's so beautiful. So what do you do in your school of super pleasure? How do you guide women to get to this point? Is it monthly, weekly, for how long?
Yeah. So the School of Super Pleasure is a 12-week program, and it's a combination of video content where I teach a specific topic. So we talk about things like self-love, self-pleasure, reclaiming pussy, sexual healing, sexual energy. So we have different topics for each week, and women get the video lecture, and then I also give them practices to do at home. And then we have live coaching calls. But really, sort of the basis of the program is what I like to call the 4 P's of empowered pleasure. So that's pleasure, purification, power, and practice. So all of the aspects that we need to fully claim our sexuality, learning how to feel pleasure, learning how to purify out these old narratives and these old stories and this old guilt and this old shame, power in what we've talked about, redefining yourself, knowing that you have the power to create what you want, and then practice, which is living it in your body, feeling it, having a real transformation, right? Not consuming information, but living it as your reality. Because when you practice and you live it as your reality, no one can take that away from you. You know it, you feel it inside. So that is a lot of the journey that we go on together. And it's so beautiful because doing it in community, again, is so healing. Because so many women feel like they're the only ones. And so just even having that experience of knowing that it's so normal and having a team to help you on that journey is just one of my favorite things ever.
Yes. And I love that this creates a level of sisterhood that we have also been taught that is impossible, right? That women never get along and women don't support each other and women are one against the other. And then again, I am seeing in your work, both in your school of super pleasure and in what you're doing outside, that you have the standard of sisterhood as one of your main principles. I'm seeing you working with Julia Wells, with me. I'm seeing you working with Rachel Bloom. So it's like this, creating a network of women, which is going against the patriarchal culture that teaches
Totally.
that women should be isolated and scared of each other.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's such a lie, and I think that especially when you are stepping up to claim a new level of power, especially when we are through this work redefining what it means to be a sexual and powerful woman, you can't do that alone. You know, that's where we do it for all of us. We do it for each other, you know. So I'm so grateful for you and our whole network and every single woman that's in this Sexpert Talks too, because it's needed. And I think that that also is a byproduct of being sexually empowered, right? You realize the abundance that there is in life. You realize, you know, there cannot be too much of this message coming out to the world. And so it's so much more powerful to lift up your sisters and to give to them than to, yeah, buy into that lie that you have to compete or, you know, cut people down in order to succeed.
Like there's just so much for women, and if somebody takes it away, we
Mhm,
are not going to have a piece of the cake, right? So
mhm.
like,
Yeah.
no, we have a lot of cakes to cook, so no problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But not only, like, I think too, you know, women, it's like electric. It's one of my favorite things. Like when you walk into a cafe and you hear a group of women just like laughing or they're like doing the like squealing thing, you know, so many people are like, ew, whatever. But it's like, what, where else do you find energy like that, right? Like when you truly get women together, it's like the energy goes through the roof, especially when you give them permission to like be amazing. um and in their pleasure and in their full expression, it's like it, you know, it's a force that is unlike any other, truly.
Yes, 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 yes. I'm so in for that. I love that. And I have found so much healing in that. Sisterhood can be one of the most healing experiences that women can have.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. I'm so grateful for you for joining us in this conversation and for bringing so much wisdom to the table and for sharing what you're doing and for everything that you are expanding. I see you like this, yeah, like a lighthouse, beaming a lot of light to many ships out there in the ocean, and I really, really, really feel so grateful for that.
Aw, same to you too. I love you so much.
I love you too so, so, so much. It's been so beautiful. And I just want to remind people that you can contact her. We're going to have her links so that you join her Instagram and her group and her program. It's all in the description of the video. And please don't forget to subscribe to the Sexpert Talks channel.
Yeah,
Channel.
subscribe.
Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.